Hi there, welcome to episode 87 of The Art of Business English. Now, are you a leader? Do you really know how to relate to your children? And are you an effective communicator? Now, I ask you these questions because I ask them of myself. And if you know me and you've listened to The Art of Business English for a while now, you'll know that I'm on a constant mission of self-improvement. Now, I believe that at the root or the core of self-improvement is being a better and more effective communicator. So really understanding and listening to what others are saying or not saying. Okay, so today I want to share with you 7 questions that you can ask. I'm reading a really interesting book called The Coaching Habit by Michael Bungay Stanier. And in this book, he outlines 7 questions we can ask to help leaders get to really understand a situation. So today I want to do a bit of coaching and with you guys and show you the premise behind the 7 questions from the coaching habit. So in today's episode of The Art of Business English, we're going to look at the 7 questions from the coaching habit and how you can easily start to use them to help you lead more effectively. Now, the reality is that most people really want to help others by giving them their opinion or some good advice. You know, people draw on their own experience or understanding of the world to offer up this advice. However, most people don't really offer good advice because they never really listen long enough to truly understand the situation or the challenge that the person's facing. So today we're going to show you how to be better leaders and listeners. So the first question is, what's on your mind? Now, what's on your mind is great because it's an open-ended question and it instantly makes someone feel comfortable and, it's an open door question. So you can ask this question as, it's very wide in its scope and it allows people or a person to easily share with you what their challenges are. Okay, and it also has the effect of cutting through all of the BS and allowing someone to open up and go straight to the point. So in fact, it completely cuts out any small talk. You can see that it goes straight to the point. And it also allows you to get straight into the listening and understanding stage. Okay, so I'm mentioning listening a lot here. And why, you may ask? Well, most people try and diagnose without knowing the actual problem. So we jump to conclusions, or we speak from our perspective, or we just try and fix things as quick as we can. Now, this is not effective in many cases, and it often alienates the one person we are trying to help. So to kick things off, you can simply say, so, what's on your mind? Now, the next step is to, you guessed it, sit back and listen. Now, what is the next question? Now, this one's really important, and it's and what else? Okay, and what else? So once we've established the conversation and we're listening, we can move to what's claimed in the book as the world's best coaching question, and what else, or AWE. Now, this seems surprisingly simple, yet it is an extremely powerful question. And why, you might ask? Well, firstly, it is our investigative question. So it helps us to get to the bottom of an issue. Okay. So secondly, and more importantly, the first answer or response you get from someone is rarely the best. So think about that for a second. The first response or the first answer you get from someone is rarely the best. So surprise, surprise, most people have trouble articulating what it is that they really want or what it is that they have an issue with. I mean, we know that they're upset, we know that they're angry, but they have trouble articulating that effectively, or they're unclear about it. So you need to ask them what else to try and dig a bit deeper. And finally, and equally more important to us as leaders and high achievers, we need to slow down what the book refers to as the advice monster. Now, the advice monster lives inside all of us. I'm sure you know what I mean. Since we lead others, we usually want to jump in and take over and give advice and provide solutions. That's what we're taught as effective leaders now. But by asking and what else, we actually give ourselves a break and more time for the other person. to talk while we're listening. Okay, so really important to try and avoid letting the advice monster come out. All right, so the next question is, what's the real challenge for you here? So what's the real challenge for you here? This is what we refer to as the focus question. Okay, so you'll notice that there are two main elements. Firstly, we are directly asking someone what the challenges are. And this is great as it can help us to get right to the real issues within an organization or a situation. However, we really need to, or we must add for you at the end in order to keep the focus on the real issues affecting the individual or the team. Okay, so if you ask someone what the real issues are, they'll most probably externalize most of them or give you some vague idea about the problem and not really get down to the real issues that are affecting them as a person. Okay, so by saying to someone, what's the real challenge for you, you're like forcing them to focus on what is really the issue. They have to reflect. They can't externalize. It's not an external issue, but one that is affecting them specifically. So it's a way to really focus, sharpen the saw, focus on and get the person to think about what it is that's really affecting, or what's the challenge that's really affecting them. Furthermore, we can redeploy or re-employ the AWE question, so and what else, to keep them focused and to really get them to the true feelings or challenges that are affecting that particular person. So this is great for laser focusing, as I said, as well as keeping, your advice monster quiet while you truly make efforts to understand the issues. Okay, so it's really important. What's the real challenge here for you? Okay, let's move on to the next one. Now, the next one is, what do you want? Okay, it's very direct, this question. This is referred to as a foundation question. So often it's not very easy, or it's not a very easy question to answer. Most people don't know what they want. Many people, they feel angry or frustrated or undervalued in their personal or work relationships, and they feel that they can describe what makes them angry or what challenges they are facing, but they don't really know how to tell you what they want to do to fix them. So you need to really make people reflect on, what they really want out of this. Okay, so what do you want forces people to focus on the outcome or an outcome to this problem. And it makes them think about what they may see as a viable solution or a result to the challenges that they are facing. Okay, so it's really important to focus people. Furthermore, this is a great question to put to someone when you feel that the conversation is getting stuck or bogged down. This can help give some new life and clarity to a conversation that seems to be going back over what's already been said. When people just keep repeating over and over again what the problem is, but they really don't tell you what they want to solve it. So, and it's also important to point out that we can again follow up what do you want with and what else, okay, just to keep it focused. And this will help you probe further the issues and how the individual envisages the solution or the final outcome. Okay, so that's one more, and now we're going to move on to the next one, which is, how can I help you? Okay, so this in the book is referred to as the lazy question. Now that probably seems a bit strange, doesn't it? I mean, what kind of person would encourage a leader or a high achiever to be lazy? Well, I'm going to explain to you why it's called the lazy question now. Okay, this question is in fact a great shortcut that saves a lot of time and energy. We often don't, have all the answers, and we often are not sure how we can really help someone. We think, or we assume, or we make judgments. Okay, but so to avoid wasting time and assuming what we think the other person wants from us, we just come straight out and ask them. Okay, what do you want from me, or how can I help you? So by doing this, you're cutting through again all the BS, and you're going straight to the point, and you're actually not wasting time assuming or thinking or making judgment. You're getting it straight from the person. Okay, so one of these two questions, so how can I help you or what do you want from me, you can get a clear idea of what it is that they want. Okay, but you're also still not, busting in there and with your advice and telling people, oh, you should do this. And the other person, they still have ownership of the challenges or the issues because they're the ones telling you what they want. Okay, so that's that one, and we're going to move on to the next one, which is almost the last one. So I think it's the second last one here, the number 6, and that is if you say yes to this, what must you say no to? So what does that mean? If you're saying yes, or if you say yes to this, what must you say no to? Now, this is the question for those who are overwhelmed, overworked, and overcommitted, okay? Because why is that? Every time you say yes to something, you're making a commitment, okay? And this can lead to you overcommitting or burning out, or worse, making empty promises. I mean, if you say yes to one thing, you generally have to say no to other things. So you really need to be careful with this, because if we ask person what they want, then we really need to make sure that they're aware that if they say yes to this solution, then and they're committed to it, then they are probably giving up time that they can dedicate to something else. So we really we need buy-in from people. We need people to make commitments that they feel they can keep. Okay, there's no point in having people in your organization who are yes men or yes women, people who never, say no, yet never deliver, or deliver half-baked work. I mean, it's easy to say yes, but it's not easy to keep your commitment. So it's really important that people, when they make this promise, they make it genuinely. So when we try and get to the root of someone's challenges, we need to make sure that they are committed to the solution, okay? We need to make sure that their promises are real so that we can get things done, okay? And now we're going to move on to the last question, which is what was most useful to you, okay? So the last question is our learning question. Now, we say this because it's our feedback loop, all right? The step where we make people stop, think, and reflect on the whole experience or process. This question is extremely important to the learning process. So as you probably are aware, we learn from our experiences, both good and bad. And if I tell you what to do, then you're less likely to learn the lesson. Yet if I ask you what you feel has been most useful, then you're forced to reflect on the role that you've played in the process and the outcomes. So it's really important, this question, just to wrap things up. Okay, as this question is a feedback loop, it also allows people to think about what could have been done better, and what they might try and improve on in the future. So as a leader or coach, this question also gives you the feedback you need. All right, remember, feedback works both ways. Here you will get some perspective on what strategies were most effective in managing the team or the individual. Okay, so as you can see, communication and leadership don't really have to be that hard. I mean, these questions are quite straightforward, no? They're not anything out of this world. And these simple questions can give you some pretty easy tools to help you generate more discussion and try and get to the root cause of issues, challenges, and problems within your team or with individuals. And remember, the key lesson today is that we should never jump in and offer up our advice. In order to be a better communicator, we need to be better listeners. And I've said this many times before, and you need to also be, an emphatic listener. You need to genuinely want to listen with intent so that you show that you have a genuine interest in resolving the issue or understanding the problems that the person is facing. Okay, that's super important. People want to be listened to, and people want to be understood. Now, I've only touched on these 7 questions. If you'd like to go deeper, obviously, I recommend that I encourage you to purchase the Coaching Habit book. It's pretty easy to read. It's a short book. It's not long. And it also has many video interviews that accompany the different sections. So you can really practice your listening skills. You can practice your reading skills, and you can learn some, valuable leadership skills. This book's also great to help you improve your leadership skills, as I said, not only at work, which is also important because, you can use it with your family, with your kids. And it's also great to help you improve your business English and your general communication skills. Okay, so I hope you've enjoyed this quick episode on 7 questions to help you become a better leader. That's it for me for this week. And I hope you've enjoyed this week's episode of The Art of Business English. I will see you all next week, and take care. I'll be releasing some videos for my course on how to engage people in conversation. If you do want to take up the offer, come and check out the offer at the Art of Business English website, theartofbusinessenglish.com /how to engage people in conversation. Okay, I'll see you all next week, everybody. Take care. Bye for now.